Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Shakaama. I haven't had a big view video in a while, so I thought I'd make this video. See if I can have another million view video. So here we go. Men are winning. Now, what do I mean by winning? How do you gauge winning? I think a big gauge would be happiness, right? If men are happier than women, then I would believe that you could safely say that men are winning. Here's the deal. As women, feminist, not women, feminist. As feminists move along and they have seized entertainment, they've seized media, all forms of media, they completely seized it. Meaning they have people on staff and they have actual lobbyists, they have groups that literally have taken such control over media that you cannot put anything out in the mainstream that does not meet their approval. It is a rare case where such is possible, but that something gets past their view or it is not controlled completely by them. So what's the deal? Pew Research has come out and said women are unhappy. Hold on, they're not just unhappy. Unhappy would be like somebody ate the very last piece of pizza, cake, chocolate, what have you, right? No, we're talking about more women are depressed. I can't say everything for the censors of YouTube. More women are depressed than ever before. And here's the deal. So let's break this up into topic. The workplace. As women progress higher and higher and higher up the corporate ladder, first of all, we see one of the lies of feminism get completely obliterated. Women are paid more when they reach officership than men. So a CEO, CFO, COO woman, female, is actually paid more than her male counterpart in the same exact job. And this is industry-wide. This is nationwide. As a whole, women are paid more in those positions. And what's really funny is, as you go down the management ladder, the same still holds true. Women in positions of authority are actually paid more. But feminists keep trying to promote this idea that women are paid less. When you compare apples to apples, women are paid more. Okay, so you would think that as they climb the corporate ladder and get into positions of authority and whatnot, that they would be happier. No, it actually increases depression. Those at the top are more depressed. Why? This is really funny that this hits home, that these women, that a feminist came out with a book that said, you can't have it all. You can have your job. You can have kids. You can have a marriage. Well, it seems that the other women who are in those positions cannot have it all. They can't be a mom and a CEO or CFO or COO and have a loving husband. Cannot have. Countrywide, they are finding that women who climb the corporate ladder are not only more depressed, but are also lonely. They are not married because they have to take on the role of a man. That means they cannot be married, cannot get pregnant, cannot have children. So they are CEO, COO, CFO, and they are lonely. Or they are alone. A lot of them are not admitting that they are lonely, but they are admitting that they are depressed. And the span of those who are admitting that they are depressed is increasing and increasing and increasing. More and more, that is the case. So, dollars to donuts, as a man climbs the corporate ladder, he becomes more happy, more in tune with his life and his goals, and right? Men are goal-oriented. So reaching such pinnacles is really in the best interest of the man. The woman gets more unhappy. The man gets more happy. Let's look at home life. And we're talking about comparing men to women in the state of being single, because that is the push of feminism. Single, 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 no marriage, right? We hate men, to kill all men, blah, 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 right? And for you who call yourself a feminist, but you don't subscribe to this, you need to check who you're aligning yourself with. It's not that we're wrong, you're wrong. You're calling yourself a feminist. This is the agenda. Don't try and redefine the word. The word has been defined. The movement has been defined. It is not we who are wrong. It is not about equality. You think it's about equality? You are wrong. That's just you. And if you go find another woman who says she's a feminist and thinks it's about equality, you are now in an echo chamber of just you two saying feminism is about equality. It is not. You are in the wrong. We are in the right, because your movement has said exactly what it is about. And that is women to be in power, women to be over men, and men to just be in a sort of like slave position or pet position or something like that. You're wrong. We're right. This is what your movement has come out and said it is. And all the evidence points to that. There is no evidence that feminism points to being about equality. There is none. None. Not in even a single instance. Now let's move on to love life. And we're talking about single people. Who's happier? We find that men are happier. Women, again, are more unhappy, because being single literally means that nobody's treating you to anything. Nobody's paying for anything. You have to work. You have fought so hard to be Miss Independent. And when you finally achieve it, you are now unhappy. And then here's the real kicker, is that you then turn around and then you blame patriarchy for your unhappiness. You wanted to be single. You are now single. And what's a real oxymoron is that a person who calls herself a feminist having a boyfriend. Having a boyfriend leads to engagement, which leads to husband and wife. Once again, you are confused about what feminism is. It is not about getting married. It is the exact opposite. Time and time again, the propaganda is put out that marriage is horrible, terrible, awful, bad. So we find women being more unhappy to be single, which leads us to the last part of not getting married, which is the ultimate goal of feminism. And here's a clue phone. You're being used by the state. Why? Because if people get married, invariably, a very large percentage, even today, a very large percentage will have the woman stay at home and raise the children. Why is the state not encouraging this? Because you cannot tax a woman who does not work. So the state, in its infinite wisdom, wants to discourage marriage. How do they do that? Through feminism. Voila, we have now come full circle. Now I have told you that you were being exploited, and now we have it. That's what all of this is about. Not being married, men are happier. Women are more unhappy about not being married. And once again, they victim blame and turn the tides and say, men are afraid to be married, because fear is not manly, right? Men are afraid to get married. Men are running away from commitment. That whole commitment thing, that all started in the 80s, remember? that men don't want to commit, and that was a bad thing. Men don't want to commit. Well, and all of this applies only to white people. It doesn't apply to black people. Black people are still getting married at the same rate. They're still not really getting divorced at the same rate. And black people are just as happy or just as miserable for other reasons all along. That nothing has really changed. This entire gender war is a white thing. It is not a black thing, because in the black culture, I know you all want to keep harping that we're all the same. No, we're talking about culture now. The black culture is hyper masculine. The black woman is still beholden to the black man. And having a quote unquote good black man is a sign that you have arrived in black culture. Being independent, being a feminist, all of that sort of stuff is against black culture. A woman who is not married in the black culture is looked down upon. As much as the white feminists try and say we're all the same or what have you, you are not understanding that we have a different culture. And you are trying to change someone based on their color to go against their culture. I have to point these things out because black people get confused that we do indeed have a different culture. Everybody wants to say black and white as if that's the definition of human beings. That is not the definition. It is culture. The same thing about the homosexuality. The black culture looks down upon homosexuality. It's a hyper-masculine culture. So you're not going to get a whole bunch of black people to embrace homosexuality because it's not a part. It is against our culture. And you can't say that's right or wrong. It's our culture. We are not beating up anybody. We're not hurting anybody. We're not doing anything, like the news reports about Muslims. We just do not accept it, point blank. And you know what? Being a part of an adult means that you do not accept everybody, and you have no compunction to accept everybody. And if your culture said that is not the way to be a man in our culture, another culture does not need to step in to tell us what to do. Now, let's get back to this whole white gender war. When you have no marriage, no hopes of marriage, no indication of marriage, women are unhappy, men happy. Why? Because men never needed women. Never. There was never a need for women. Why? Because as soon as you tear away the bounds or the bonds that kept men to allegedly only marry one woman, you created a seemingly the bondage was seemingly an unhappy state for men. When you release that bondage, men are happy because now sex is free, and who enjoys that more between the sexes? Men do. I know that, there's women who say that they're free and that they can have, but that is not the case. The psychology of open and free sexual relations is not conducive to the psyche of a woman. A woman who is a delicate being in a world with 400-pound men, who has the psyche of a 400-pound man, needs to feel secure. And she cannot feel secure in her own right because there are 400-pound men running around. Pure muscles. Now, what about 200-pound men with pure muscles? They have the psyche of a 200-pound man with pure muscles. They're not terribly afraid of a 400-pound man with pure muscles because at the end of the day, all men compare themselves to each other. They size each other up all the time. Women are not socialized to do that. So a woman doesn't see a 400-pound man and says, I could take him. A woman sees a 400-pound man and says, oh my God, where's my brother? Where's my dad to protect me? I know society tells you the exact opposite, but that is not true. So we come to the end of the conclusion here is that men are winning. This whole feminist experiment to get women to go back to work and to tax them to death, just like men, you're losing. And all of a sudden, here we have the fembots, the girl robots. And they have already said that there is already a segment of the population that they know, I'm talking about men, that they know will very easily translate their lifestyle over to fembots. There are men who have psychological relationships with pillows, with pictures of women on them. Do you think that you have any chance? Because what does the pillow do? The pillow just lays there. The pillow doesn't say, you're not committed to me. You need to buy me this. How easy is it for those men to translate over to fembots? Super easy. And that's just one tiny aspect of that psychology. There are those who are given to watching adult videos. They've already said all of those men will translate over to fembots quite easily, and they won't have to do very much of anything. This whole feminist experiment has gone so awry, and women are just, you don't even see it coming of just how terrible it is. And let's not even talk about fembots. Fembots are just fembots. They're just robots who look like women, talk like women, and you can do stuff with them as women, right? Now, the next step up are the wife bots or mother bots. You're guessing exactly right. These are artificial beings who can produce human beings with the introduction of the man. There you go. This whole feminists talking about, oh, we're so oppressed, blah, blah, blah. It's gonna take on a whole nother timber, that's a musical term, when we roll out mass market mother bots. You're doomed. You are out of it. When men seriously have zero need for women, women lose, and you're already losing. We're talking about women being depressed, trying to recreate a man in themselves. Do not get me wrong. I am reporting the news. I'm not saying what's right, what's wrong, how I feel. I'm reporting the news. So please don't give me this tired psychology of, you must be really bitter. I could care less. I'm reporting the news. You use the news as you see fit. Women are losing. Men are winning. Literally, it's gonna come to a head where the silent women who are actually sane, who do actually want humanity to survive, who do want equality for all women the world over, including parts of the world where women truly are oppressed, it's going to come to such a head, and it's going to be a girl on girl fight. And the feminists know this, I believe, and they're trying to put out fires wherever they start. Men don't have to do anything. It will come to a head. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show.